I do appreciate the recognition, but I won't keep this stuff. This will go to my mom, and this will probably go to my son, because I'm very uncomfortable being here with you guys. I do not rock with the police.
That was a hero and a man by the name of Alex Mingus from Minnesota. And he was actually calling out police officers and their inaction at the very podium he had been awarded a Medal of Valor by the police he was attacking. Now, not only is this guy an incredible person, but he's brave. I mean, he spoke out, and you probably noticed the shirt he's wearing, where he's calling out white supremacy. He previously had like a sweater covering it, and then once he took the podium, he took the sweater off, which I loved.
Like Superman would.
Yeah, and it says, of course, smash white supremacy. Now, before we get to the rest of what he had to say, which is the best part of the story, here's the context that you need to know about. So Mingus was awarded the medal after he responded to a shooting at a gas station. This occurred on October 8th. Now, here's what happened during that whole incident. Mingus was driving with his wife to work when he heard gunshots and followed a red van that left at a high rate of speed, from the shooting. Now, Police Chief Jeremy Ellison said that the van later stopped and a man who was bleeding profusely exited the vehicle and asked for help. Ellison said Mingus, a civilian, wrapped a shirt around the shooting victim's arm to try to slow the bleeding. An artery in the victim's wrist had been severely damaged by a bullet. Doctors stated that the aid provided by Alex prevented this man from dying.
That's amazing.
He saved a man's life. But what's also, I don't even want to say it's shocking, because I've witnessed the inaction by cops, in Los Angeles specifically. But he called out cops because of what they did when this incident happened. So without further ado, let's go to the next clip.
Congratulations. I'd like to give you an opportunity to say a few words.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I feel like I did what anyone would have done with the little bit of training that I have. I'm a certified firearms instructor. That day, 9 of your squad cars raced past us as I was flagging them down. It said in the letter you sent me. And that was a potential of 18 people. 18 people could have stopped to help preserve life. But 18 people chose to go to a potential threat. And I recognized the man had a pistol and we didn't know what he was doing. But I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to say these things. And I just want folks to know that they don't keep us safe. We keep us safe.
Damn.
That was incredible. So again, not only did he save someone's life, he had the courage to say that at a podium that was provided to him by the very cops that he's ripping apart. And so you might be wondering, what was the reaction from the St. Paul Police Department? They have yet to respond or release a statement.
Yeah.
I mean, he called him out, and I'm so happy he did in the way that he did it. Because, I mean, it's so frustrating when you need help, and I've seen this happen firsthand, and they either don't show up or they'll see something dangerous happening and they don't do anything about it, right? So what he said in the end, they're not keeping us safe, we keep us safe. I mean, in this particular case, it was literally true.
Yeah, I only wish that the cameraman hadn't zoomed in, because I would have loved to have seen the look on the face of the guy who gave him the medal. But we didn't get to see that. And by the way, we can't see all the cops who were there to listen to what he had to say. I can only imagine that they're whispering to each other, this is terrible, when is somebody gonna do something? But they couldn't intervene because that would involve doing something. They were just waiting for a civilian to stop him from doing what he was doing. Look, it's difficult to do. I can't imagine, he must have been worried about the response from the cops, and is he gonna be harassed by cops in the future? It is a brave thing to do, not only to save a life, but then to open yourself up to being targeted by the right wing, by the cops in this. And for the cops, I'm sure they feel backstabbed as a result of this. Because I know exactly, but they need to understand, it's not like people hate cops because we just want to hate cops. I don't want to hate people who bake goods. I don't want to hate astronauts. I don't have any interest in hating a profession. What I want is all professions to do the job that they're supposed to do. And if you are a good cop, and I'm sure there's many good cops, you should hate the bad cops 100 times more than we do, because they're the ones who every day are making you guys look like absolute garbage. And we want the entire thing to be reformed, specifically to lift up the good cops and to create a new culture where they can do the job they're supposed to do and fulfill their obligation to the people that live in their area. We can get back to a time when everyone loves the cops, but better, because then it was basically just a reflection of white supremacy and a belief that the cops were always gonna side with white people against every other racial minority. We could have an actual healthy relationship with the cops, but it's gonna take a lot of reform to get there.
Absolutely, yeah, that reform is so desperately needed because public safety is important, as I've been talking about the show a lot recently. And there was something that happened recently and I just literally didn't know what to do. Like witnessing someone literally breaking into cars right in front of you. But you call the cops and best case scenario, I guess, they show up and arrest the guy, but you run the risk of them doing it brutally in a terrible way. And at that point, it's like, I was walking my dog. Just turned the corner, saw another person walking their dog, and I was like, hey, there's a situation going on over there. I don't know how safe it is. You should protect yourself, and we both turned around and walked the other way. I know it's a messed up way of responding to it, but I mean, I've personally experienced it. A lot of times you'll call and they don't even show up. There's an insane video. Maybe we'll do this story even though it's old now. It's in Los Angeles County, in front of a beauty parlor, like a hair salon. Broad daylight, dude shows up, puts one of those beach chairs in front of the salon, sits down, and just proceeds to pleasure himself. And the women were terrified and felt incredibly threatened. They called the cops. Cops didn't show up for 45 minutes. The guy was long gone, right? So it's a problem. It really is, where people don't feel like they can rely on the very agency, the very group of people who are hired to protect and serve.
It's probably defund the police, probably. And I know what you're gonna say. LA spends an amazing amount of money on cops, and every year it's more, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean,
it's not defund the police. That's not what is actually causing it.
No, but
we spend a crazy amount on cops. That's not what it is.
I think they're also, I mean, maybe not all of them, but I think that there's a quiet strike happening. They're not.
They're quiet quitting.
They're quiet, but I think they're doing it to prove a point too. Where it's oh, you want to protest about us? Okay, see how you like it when we don't show up.
Oh you think we don't do our jobs? Well, what about when we don't do our jobs? Huh? What are you gonna think then?